Recording in progress. Good morning, Fran. I say good morning as it's afternoon here and evening all the way over in the land of the free.
The home of the brave. Kingdom. The home of the entertained.
The home of the entertained. The world is watching, Fran. Not us. Not us. But not us. The world is watching.
What did I see earlier on TikTok?
And we're all collectively going, what?
But that's fine. It was an American. Like, I just saw someone in the UK saying they were wearing Nike sneakers. And I'm like, Nike? Really? Nike? And I was like, babe, meanwhile in America.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of room to talk right now. But by the way, that's how it's spelt. When I was a kid and Nikes came out, or Nikes first came across my eyeballs, I didn't know. I mean, it would make sense.
What came across your eyeballs?
Nike or Nikes, however you want to say it. That's what I'm saying. When you're 7 years old, you see Nike. I don't know. The E is silent. But anyway, it's whatever Phil Knight says. Fran, this is season 2, episode 3 of the Fran and Carlo Get OCR. Where'd you get the L from?
I didn't.
Oh. CR. Adjacent is the name of the show. Here we are. Oh, man. At the time, I don't know. I was going to say what day it is. That nobody cares. I know it's Friday.
Nobody cares. Nobody's listening.
The 20-something. And
24?
Yeah.
24th. So January's nearly over.
It seems like January's taken forever.
It's as slow and boring as every other day.
It's been cold here, which is not usual. It's weird. It's cold in the morning. Like it's like at freezing, but then it's like 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the afternoon. So it's like, nah, we're fine.
It's cold here. It's cold. It didn't even get light today. So
didn't get light?
It was pretty gray and dark.
Oh, I don't like that.
Headlights were on all day long.
I don't like, that's cool. That's safe.
No, it's not.
But I don't like that.
It's depressing. This is why I am so white.
Let's talk about some community news.
Let's do it.
Okay. One thing I wanted to get into, and this is very brief, is that Spartan Race Europe announced their national teams. I'm not going to get into every single athlete, but their team, if you will, the national team, or I guess that would be it's individual national teams, right?
UK, France, Europe, Italy, Germany.
Hey, don't step on the bit, dude. Thank you. Hold on. We're talking about athletes from the UK, the Netherlands, Austria, France, Switzerland, Germany, and Italy. Oh, and dang, I can't read my notes. Isn't that sad? I've typed them out and I still can't read them.
Put your glasses on, old man.
Speaking of Italy, adoro il formaggio.
Sorry again?
Adoro il formaggio.
Oh, you love the cheese.
I love cheese. Yes, that's my phrase this week that I learned in Italian. By the way, I can't remember how to say my phrase from last week, so I'm not really remembering anything. But for those of you who are new to the show, first off, welcome.
Welcome. I will bring my phrase in later. I'll bring my phrase in later.
I don't know how you found it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not stepping on just since we were talking about Italian.
No, that's fine, as we were talking about cheese.
I've said for season 2, Fran and I both are going to learn a sentence in a foreign language. I chose Italian. Not Shan. Your name is not Shan. Your name is Fran. Big difference. Big difference between someone named Fran and someone named Shan. I just derailed my thought. So I chose Italian. And I went with adoro il formaggio. Is IL, do you say ill or is it E?
Ill.
Okay. See, I Spanish, you kind of let a little flash, and it's like Italian's like, just read it. Adoro il formaggio.
French pronounce most of the letters apart from half of them and then add a few in that aren't there. I've chosen a different language this week.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Really tricky one. No, I'll do it later, but it's really tricky.
Okay.
and it's probably not going to be very good. So
it's, you know what? Nothing about this show is very good.
yeah,
So let's go. So anyway, yes, Spartan Race Europe. The national teams have been announced. If you go to Spartan Race Europe's Instagram page, they've got all the athletes
have
listed.
they? Not just on the individual countries.
So each post is the individual country, and then if you swipe, you'll see all the athletes.
Cute.
So I didn't want to. It would basically be doing race results.
He doesn't care.
Yeah,
Carlo doesn't care.
There's a ton. It's like 5, 8 or so per nation. So, while I'm thinking of it, do you remember how many seconds we gave Jack for this week?
36, maybe.
I think that was right. 36 or 38.
38, actually. I think
38 sounds good.
Or maybe 36. It's some.
I will revisit. No, I won't. We're gonna pretend it's 30. Yep. I need to find a way of writing that down.
There's this thing called a pen and paper.
I was gonna say, I just said I need to find a way of writing that down. Well, I'll work on that for next week. Finding a way of writing things down. If only there was some type of an electronic tablet where I could just type it in and it will be retained literally forever. But who's to say? In the meantime, please enjoy the Jack Goris 36 to 38 second worldwide weather report. Take it away, Jack.
Hurricane force winds out here. Not a really good time to be outside. It's cold, it's snowing, there's wind, and there's all kinds of roads and stuff. I don't really know. I think Jacksonville is the next race, and that's going to be hot because it's Florida and everyone hates Florida, including the people that live in Florida. It's the stupidest place on earth, okay? Anyways, yeah, it's snowing.
He has no idea. He doesn't watch.
No.
He doesn't watch.
No, he doesn't
He used
watch.
to complain. And I think the only reason he knew he wasn't included sometimes is because Melissa Linden mentioned it in the comments. And then he'd be like, what? How come I'm not in the show? Anyway. So, Fran, last weekend in Kuwait was the Mettle Games. I watched on TV because I am not a highly thought of member of the OCR report, evidently. But some of you were there.
No, we hate you.
Doing play-by-play coverage in the gusty, winded 10K.
Oh my God, it was so cold.
And then the more comfortable looking team competition.
Still really cold.
Was it?
Yeah.
When you say cold, what is it in Fahrenheit?
I don't know.
Okay, that's a great answer.
But I was wearing long trousers, a North Face, like, thin jacket, like a hiking jacket, but padded, and a hoodie and a...
You had your hair thing. I saw your little cute little
head
I had
thing a hat and then like an army jacket, and I was cold.
Wow, still cold. Well, wind. See, wind is my least favorite element.
Same.
It could be really hot or really cold, and I'm like, ooh. Then you throw in wind, and I'm like, this absolutely sucks.
Yeah, sucks. So
wind plus anything.
It was really cold. It was really cold, but that's not really the point of the weekend, was it? Yeah, we were there. We were there getting coverage all weekend.
Yes.
In Kuwait. Myself and Will Hicks did the commentary. Jason Dupree was the producer director, as always. And then we had a really great team of rabbits from Europe.
It looked like it. It looked like a lot of fun. The rabbiting was excellent.
Good with the rabbits. So
yes,
really, really good athletes. One of whom, we'll mention his name, Jason Brunnock, is on the Spartan Pro team for the UK.
Attaboy, JB.
So that's how good they were.
Yeah.
I'll mention the other names now because it seems unfair. So Jason Brunnock, Lee Fuller, Dave Peters, Mark Turner, and Martin Perrier.
Oh, I like that guy.
Good.
Just
good
that
name.
name. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't have to say it a lot.
I mean, we could just call him Martin Perrier, but I'm an asshole and I say Martin. And it was good. They were really good runners, really good videographers. I think some incredible coverage was got this weekend. Big fans of them, big fans.
And very little like technical, like sometimes, feeds get a little choppy and you switch cameras. There wasn't even a lot of that.
So this is the funny thing. We used local SIM cards, which is what happens in the States, because in the States, people are using their phones. The SIM cards got to us not long before the race. We should have got them the day before, and they got to us not long before. So I'd say the biggest stress was getting the SIM cards into the phones.
Yeah.
And not all phones took SIM cards, but the coverage was incredible. And I think like I don't want to criticize America too much, but I'm gonna.
It's popular to do right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, this is kind of like an example of how America's not as awesome as it might think it is, and the people there don't realize, in the sense that like people are really surprised that the coverage was good elsewhere. It's like other countries have technology, especially incredibly rich countries. Have good technology.
I just want sound coming through both channels. By the way, if you're listening to this on headphones and you're only hearing it in one ear, we're working on that.
Carlo is very confused between mono and stereo.
Don't put it on me, man. I have not changed a thing.
Exactly. We'll talk about it. So the coverage was really good. The picture was really good. We in fact had too many videos to choose from, and I was like next to Jason, like, pick this one, Jason, pick this one. And he was like, let me do my job and you do yours.
You sounded like Jack.
Yeah. I'm too tired to do Jason's voice.
It's okay.
But it was great, and the rabbits loved it, and they're very excited about more coverage in Europe and elsewhere. And a couple of them are kind of talking about potentially coming to WTM and helping out as a pair of legs there too.
Well, it'd be great to have them because rabbits are a huge part of what we do. So
it was great. It was really good. It was a really fun race. The race itself was good. The obstacle build was incredible. Potentially some of the best obstacle build I've ever seen.
They were good ones.
They were really well built. Very hospitable. The race director invited us all to his house for dinner. We went out for dinner on the final night all together. It was just nice to hang out with people. It was very social. It was, even though I was working, OCRWC is really social and WTM is really social.
Right.
And I work both of those as well. OCRWC a lot more than I work the other weekends. But there was time to enjoy the social side as well. It's really nice, and it's important. And those parts of race weekends are really, really important.
Yeah, and that's kind of the tough thing, especially like the social media side, which they handled on their end this time. But it's the social side on the social media side isn't. You don't have much time to be social when you're at like a 10K or a 5K because you really can't afford to be talking to people and socializing.
I think you would have struggled doing social at this event because there was no car to get around, and same with Jack doing photography. There's no car to get around the course.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
So you wouldn't have really been able to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been hard.
That's where like a toughest or an Infinity or a World's Toughest Mudder is so fun and so much more enjoyable to cover because you've literally got a whole day. You've got 12 hours to like, oh, we can go to this obstacle, we can go there. But anyway, everyone knows that. Now, one thing I wanted to get into was last week, prior to this event, I know you love doing predictions. I asked you to predict the men's podium. Now, what you said originally was Thomas van Tonder, Ryan Atkins, BJ Jones.
I was so close.
You were, but then you kind of talked yourself out of it because you forgot that Sergey was going to be there.
And I was so silly because I'd forgotten that Sergey had a tricky time at the Spartan World Champs and hadn't really placed. And that indicates that something might not be playing in his, in his wheelhouse at the moment. And I forgot that. I was silly. I got carried away. with the name.
But what you did instead,
I put him at the top.
You threw caution to the wind, Fran, and you said, never mind. Sergey's going to be there. He's taking first. We'll slid. You didn't really say after that, but I assumed you just slid your podium down a place.
I did. I slid my podium down, and I was pretty correct. But yeah, Thomas and Ryan obviously took the win and took it well. Why did I put Thomas ahead of him? Probably because last time I saw Ryan race was at WTM and he twisted his ankle. And last time I saw Thomas race, he ran really well at OCRWC, and I know he's been.
And as we know from the medical professionals that were at World's Toughest Mudder, Ryan seriously tore his ankle, and it was going to be months and months and months and months and months of rehab, if not surgery.
Can confirm is not that.
He looked pretty strong to me.
Yeah. So those were not the best predictions ever.
You know what, though? Those
What?
are probably still better than your football picks, which we'll get into later on in the show.
Did I do badly?
Here's the thing. Well, we'll get into those in a little bit later, but what you chose were not illogical picks based on how the games should have gone. They were just some like on any given Sunday, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, there were some upsets. And, well, let's be real. Not that you knew either way, but it doesn't matter. But since we talked about the men, tell us a little bit about kind of the cool happenings during the women's race, the 10K. Or maybe not cool based on that face.
I love camaraderie. I personally would have liked to see Nicole and Elisa race. You've frozen, and you've frozen like this.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that when I
so tired. Oh my God, I look so tired. Yeah, you've completely frozen.
Really? Oh, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, you're slightly back. You're back. I thought you were just super shocked at what I'd said. Yeah, I would have liked to see them race, to be honest. And potentially for the athletes behind them, it might feel a bit weird being like, "Oh, I tried really hard," and I don't know.
Because they were kind of the two of them had a big lead. So we're talking about who? Nicole and
Elisa
Petrova, right? They had a large lead for at least the second half or so of the race. And so if you don't know what happened, they were never really challenged by the third and fourth place women. Yeah. So they just kind of, I don't want to say they cruised because they were clearly running hard.
They were running hard, but they definitely
but together, like
harder. But they were running together. They weren't challenging each other necessarily.
Right. In particular, the one that I remember, I don't remember what they called the obstacle, but there was that one with the horizontal bars, the up and over.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like the Weaver, but they didn't weave.
But it's not a weave, you just go over the top.
Yeah, because there was one there where like
Elisa, had she been racing, could have just taken off because
Nicole had all kinds of problems on that.
Yeah.
But she got off the obstacle. I remember watching it. She got off the obstacle and she just stopped and turned and like waited for Nicole. That's when I was like, oh. And it was fun to hear you guys on the call kind of be like, oh, this is a chance for because unless you're on a two-person team.
We really thought there would come a point where they would race.
Yeah. So they did the last rig.
It wasn't a thrilling.
No.
But then, it was really nice. I was excited to see Angelique race. I'd never seen her race before. Yep. And she has a really good mix. She's got a good history of Spartan racing, OCR, and she does hybrid racing. So she was going to do well because the weights were very heavy. And she had that strength and the technical proficiency. So that was really fun to get to see her race.
I will say this, watching the men's race first, that was a brutal farmer's carry. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a farmer's carry that long in a race ever.
Yeah, and
like when I'm watching Atkins
as well, they were having to put them down.
Yeah, Atkins dropped it multiple times, which I was like, he's a strong. Well, they're all strong dudes, but
yeah, they're all strong dudes.
Yeah. So, really quick to finish up on the women, they basically ran the last half of the race together, joined hands at the finish time. Were given co-championships.
First place, yeah.
So, do they split the money? I don't know how that works. You can't expect the race director to suddenly be like, yeah, now I'm going to pay you both first place wages.
I don't know.
But I don't know. Anyway, so it was Elisa and Nicole in first. Angelique, how do you say Angelique's last name?
Chitano
in second. And tell me Eva's last name.
Van E.
Oh, literally. Oh, that's exactly how it's spelled. Van E. But it's VAN space capital E lowercase e.
Yeah. Eva Van E.
That's a very sultry, actress. And introducing all the way from wherever she's from. Eva Van E. And down the stairs she comes. Bam, 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 right? Long flowy dress. There you go. That's a very actressy name. Very nice. Well, there you go. That was Mettle Games.
Those Mettle Games. So now I'm going to bring my sentence in, and forgive me for this, okay?
Did you do something in Arabic or something?
Ooh. Are we ready? This is
So Fran is going to tell us a sentence in Arabic that she's learned.
Okay, are we ready?
Right, yeah.
Lachich mafata min adath as al usbuch a ala OCR report YouTube.
Are you doing did you do the same sentence every week? Just
no,
in different
this was
that was incredibly long.
Yeah, it was very long. It was very long. Catch up on all the action. Catch up on the weekend's action on the OCR report YouTube.
See, after last week when I fumbled all over that.
Adath as al uzbuch uzbuch ala OCR report YouTube. If anyone can speak Arabic, tell me if that was correct.
Yes, for our Arabic speaking audience, that I'm sure we've got dozens of them. Although I do follow and am being followed now by the one guy who raced. I think he raced on the Atkins team. He's like the lawyer. Is that
Ahmed?
Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy.
He was really sweet.
So maybe he's gonna watch this. He's not gonna watch this. He's not gonna watch this. So, did they indicate at all, like, what the plans, like the Mettle Games, what their plans are? Are they gonna have
more of them? Yeah.
Good, because that was the very first OCR ever in Kuwait. Is that right?
That was the first OCR ever in Kuwait. Yeah, he took a risk. There were a lot more people there on the Saturday than the Sunday. It was really good fun to watch people. We were watching the finish line for a while whilst we were waiting for the results. It was really good. It was really well run. It was a fun course. I mean, I don't know if the people in Kuwait understood how good a quality course they're getting for their first race. They're very lucky. And yeah, hopefully people will take a chance on it.
I like it.
I think they find it a bit scary, but it was good fun.
Logistically, like when you land in Kuwait, right? How far are things from where you were? Like from the airport, like your hotel?
So we were 15 minutes from the airport.
Oh, fantastic.
And then about half an hour in a car from the hotel to the race location. Okay. And then the hotel was, we didn't actually go anywhere from the hotel aside from a place called the Avenues, which is a ginormous mall. It's like twice the size of the Mall of America, over twice the size. So everything that you could need was there. It's 2.3 million square meters. So we just went there to eat.
I've been to Mall of America, and that place is like...
This is 2 and a bit sizes bigger.
Holy goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was very nice. Everyone was super friendly.
Love it.
Super welcoming. Like, loved it. Really nice. The only scary thing was how strong the Kuwaiti dinar is, because 1 dinar is 2.67 sterling. It's like $3 to 1 dinar.
Really?
Yeah. So you buy something for 10 dinars, $30, and you're like, oh, this isn't too expensive.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know what the
It's not that it's a super expensive country. In fact, I think meals were really quite well priced. You just sometimes, if you get the exchange rate wrong,
whoopsies.
It's scary. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe someday I'll get to check it out.
I hope so.
Kuwait. Me too. But who's to say? So that concludes the OCR portion of the show. So what I like to say is now the real show begins. So from the OC, so you can say whatever you'd like if you want to start over.
No. We were chatting a lot about World's Toughest Mudder because obviously it's happening in the UK in June, and we were trying to convince a couple of athletes who were there to come and race at World's Toughest Mudder. So, hopefully a few of them will see their faces racing in June. Who knows?
I would love that.
That's it.
I just can't wait to be there in June.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. In fact, I'll get into that next episode.
Okay, right, now for the fun bit.
Plenty of time. What's that?
Now for the fun bit.
Fran.
Carlo.
I wish we would have started this earlier in the season, but we did not. But last week, I asked you with zero context, knowing you do not follow in the slightest American football. I asked you to predict who was going to be victorious this past weekend in the conference championship rounds of the National Football League.
Okay.
I asked you to predict who was going to win between the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens.
Did I say Ravens?
You said the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
And you were wrong.
I was wrong.
Then I asked you who was going to win between the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles.
I said the Eagles.
You said the Rams.
Oh, I said the Eagles.
Did you?
I will have said the Eagles.
Did I get bad information? Well, if you said the Eagles, then you were correct.
Cool.
Then I asked you who was going to win between the Washington, D.C., not state of Washington, Washington, D.C. Commanders and the Detroit Lions.
I will have said Lions.
Yes. And they were the favorite. They were the top seed in their conference. Yeah. And they got upset at home, which, by the way, if you know nothing about it, but the Detroit Lions for decades were a miserable franchise. Miserable.
Same.
And they've had back-to-back seasons.
Wait, no, Francesca. I'm a miserable Francesca. Sorry.
Of good success. And yet they fell short again. Then I asked you about the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I will have said Chiefs.
Yes, the Chiefs are kind of the evil empire of the NFL right now. They've been very good for a long time, and so much so that people now hate them. And yes, they won. So now we have, I said conference championship. That's this weekend. So now we move on to the NFL conference championship weekend, Fran. The Final Four, if you will, in the National Football Conference.
Is this my last chance?
Well, that's and the Super Bowl in 2 weeks after this.
Yeah, haven't we just had the Super Bowl?
No, it's February.
Wait, no, that was the election. Sorry, just everything's show.
That was some people's Super Bowl. Anyway, so for the National Football Conference Championship, you have the Washington Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The game being played in Philadelphia.
I'm gonna go for the Eagles again. Eagles.
Yeah, they should. The Commanders are kind of the upstart. They were a much lower seed in the playoffs, probably not expected to go this far. So they're kind of riding the high right now. But the Eagles they've been one of the best teams all year long. So I don't like the Eagles or any team from the city of Philadelphia, but
why? Why don't you like Philadelphia?
They have some of the worst fans in the history of sport, according to me. Yes. Miss Schlegel, who we hung out with at Universal, is a big.
She's an Eagle fan, so you're saying
she's a big Philly fan. In the American Football Conference, you have the Buffalo Bills. This is the game everyone's been waiting for. You have the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That game is being played in Kansas City, Missouri.
Chiefs.
What? Chiefs. Most of America hopes you're wrong, but you picking the Chiefs. So you're saying the Super Bowl will be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
I think the Las Vegas would say that you are probably high probability of that happening. We shall see. The Bills have already beaten the Chiefs once this year. As we know, that means nothing. This concludes the American football portion
of the show. So when the football season starts, maybe the football season has started in the UK. I don't know. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't know when it starts. When does the football season start?
The Premier League?
The Premier League, yeah. Has it started?
Yeah. I don't know. You gonna make me predict things?
Yeah.
All right. Go Spurs. That's all. I know the Spurs exist. The Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah, that's
But I don't know who's like.
Oh, it started in August.
So did the NFL.
And it finishes in May. Okay.
Oh, so we got a few months still.
Okay. All right. Shall I give you some? Do you want to do some predictions?
Like literally right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know nothing about any of these teams, so I know some of the names.
All right, let's have a look.
All right. Give me like 4 games.
Okay. So Nottingham Forest versus AFC Bournemouth.
Nottingham Forest is a real place?
Yes.
I thought that was just from Peter Pan. Not Peter Pan. What's his name? Robin Hood.
No. Nottingham Forest or AFC Bournemouth?
I'm still blown away that's a real place. I thought that was from a cartoon. So there was a real sheriff of Nottingham Forest who was evil, and then
Nottingham, yeah.
And then Peter Pan came along and stole from the rich. Not Peter Pan. What was his name?
Robin Hood, yeah.
Robin Hood. Yeah. Errol Flynn is the American version. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest because I'm like...
Clearly. Okay. Chelsea or Man City?
Oh, those are two teams I've heard of.
That's why I picked them.
I feel like one team's blue and one team is red. Is that right?
They're both blue.
Damn it, I don't know anything.
Manchester United are red. Manchester City are blue.
Oh, yes. I've been to Wembley, the new Wembley, just so you know.
City or United don't play there. I don't know where City play. They used to play
Man
at Main
United
Road,
doesn't
but they
play...
haven't played at Main Road since like 2000.
Manchester United doesn't play at Wembley?
Well, in a fight, no, they play at Old Trafford.
I don't know.
Yeah, but Wembley's in London.
All right. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So we're just showing what I know and what I don't know.
Chelsea or City?
Thank you. We're going with City.
Okay.
Man City.
Good. Okay. And how many did you want? How many options?
Give me two more.
Two more. Newcastle or Southampton?
Good beer, by the way. We'll go Southampton on that one.
Okay. And then Ipswich Town or Liverpool FC?
I'm going to go with Liverpool because I don't even know what that first one was. What was it?
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Spelt Ipswich. So more like Ipswich.
Ipswich. I've never heard that word in my life.
Those. You need to write these down when you're editing, and I'll Google the results next week while we're on the show.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, this is good. See?
Really good.
Fran, I have one thought on things, and then we can let you get to sleep because I know you're exhausted and you've had a rough week.
Look how tired I am.
And you were busy momming earlier. I'm glad that Evelyn is
momming.
Slippy. So, have you...
No.
Oh, do you have a question for me or no? It's okay if you don't.
Okay. I never have a question for you, babe.
Thoughts on things, and then we go home. Or then I go back to wherever. Have you ever desired or longed for something, but then once you got it, discovered it was overrated?
Pretty much everything in life.
That girl. Would you have any specifics? Any particular...
So when I was a kid...
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of stuff that I desired and or got. There was one thing once. You used to have like scholastic book fairs, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We still do. Well, I don't anymore.
Well, you don't go to
the schools do.
So yeah, we used to have book fairs, and I didn't really ask for stuff as a kid. I didn't really like asking. I still don't like asking for stuff as an adult. There's this one book I really, really wanted, and it was called The Jolly Christmas Postman. And it was about a postman who delivers letters at Christmas. And like every addressee has a letter, like the book has like an envelope, and in there is a letter, and it's everything from a letter to a jigsaw to a little puzzle. And I really wanted this book. And my mom said no. And at the time, I didn't know she said no because she'd already bought it for me for Christmas. And so apparently I was very disappointed and was just like, okay. Anyway, she bought it for me for Christmas, and I got it for Christmas. And that book, I still have it. I showed it to Dustin a couple of weeks ago. It is in pristine condition. I looked after that book so well. I valued that book so much. And that is the opposite to your question, but just to highlight how I didn't really ever cover anything.
Thank you. I was waiting for the part. I'm like, okay.
No, I don't think so. I think like
not what I asked, but that, you know what? But that's kind of the joy of this part of the show. We can just kind of...
I don't know, because
fluid
physical stuff.
Yeah.
Like I tend to really want it. And then if I really want it, then I'll get it. And then if I've really thought about it and made sure I wanted it. And I try not to get too much stuff.
Okay. That's cool.
But then there have been things like achieving things that I've not been as happy that I've achieved them as I thought I might be. Like they didn't really bring satisfaction. That's been kind of disappointing. But that says more about my psychological state than anything.
Fair. There you go. Okay.
There must be something that I got, and I was like, this is disappointing. But no,
I don't
I
know.
can't think of anything.
Okay. That's, you know what? You don't have to. I was trying to think about this. I have kind of two. One is physical, and then one is like kind of quasi emotional. But so when I was a kid, there was Transformers were just coming out, you know, the toy Transformers, and they were awesome. And there were these ones that were like they were like dinosaurs. They're called Dinobots. And there was a T-Rex one. I loved T-Rexes because Godzilla was like my favorite monster as a kid. And there was this T-Rex, but it cost like 18.
I bet you were the cutest kid with those little dimples.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, that's all. Okay. We can just stop right there.
Adorable, weren't
Oh,
you?
thank you. So I wanted this T-Rex Dinobot so bad. And it was like, what did I say? $18, $12. And this is like 1980 something. Like this is like, you know, I'm young. And my parents were like, no way, too expensive, too expensive. So I got a summer job for the first time when I was like 13 years old. And the guy paid us like $75 a week, which was like, when you're a kid and I was like, oh.
That's more than I earned at my first job in 2004.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Strangely enough, this man was one of the wealthier men that I didn't know a lot of wealthy people back then. Ended up dying in a murder suicide. Totally side note. Just saying. He killed his wife and then himself. But that doesn't matter. What's important was he gave me $75 and my mom dropped us. See, back then, my mom would take me and my friends to the mall like at like 10 in the morning on a Saturday and pick us up at like 4 p.m. And we could spend all day at the mall. Have a riot. Anyway, I went to K&B Toys and I bought myself the Dinobot, and we rushed out and we sat at the fountain and I took it apart and I started playing with it. And like within 5 minutes, I was like, cool. Like once you transform it from a dinosaur to a robot and the robot back, then you're like, that's all this does.
So I have found that the more prescriptive toys are, the less fun they are. So like my best toy was a rag doll called Blue Doc.
Very nice.
She's super cute, still got her. And she was really fun. Like that was it. Like I thought
you could like,
really sad childhood, but yeah, that was it. And I really enjoyed.
You could do whatever you want. You could make her be.
Yeah. And she wasn't like she was a Barbie, where she could only move. And I don't like Barbie. Like you could do anything with her. Like I've got still at my mum's house in the bedroom. I made a fashion magazine where I photocopied her. Like it was great fun. I loved Dockers. She still sleeps in my bed.
I love that. Yeah, there was a toy. I was too old for it, but there was a toy they sold for a while in the States called My Buddy. And it was just a little dude, like a little, like kind of like a little raggedy doll guy. And that was the toy. The toy was, it's my buddy. And the commercial was like, I'm taking him on adventures and I'm throwing him in the yard. I'm bouncing him off the trampoline.
She used to come everywhere with me.
Yeah.
And we used to go on holiday a lot. And I had a specific patented way of holding her, which I called the dock lock.
Did you say patented?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patented. And I'd hold her. So like her head would be here. I'd put my fingers around her head and then my other fingers underneath her arms. It was the dock lock. So that I couldn't.
I like that.
The dock lock.
And you could be like, do. You never drop her that way.
Nope, still got it. Love her. Do you want to know a really sad story about me saving up for a toy?
How do I not? A really sad story? What a great way to wrap the show up.
Pathetic. This would have been when I was in year 6 or maybe year 5, fifth grade. Although it's not 5th grade. It's different. We do our grades differently. And I never got pocket money because my mum was like, well, if you need something, you just ask. And there was this toy that I really wanted in the newsagents. Do you have newsagents, like little shops that sell papers and magazines and sweets and stuff?
Yes. We don't call them newsagents.
Convenience stores.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
or Shop and Rob. What if you want?
Yeah, Shop and Rob.
The corner store.
The corner store. It was
7-Eleven.
Anyway, they had this toy in there that I really wanted. That was like it was £1. So this would have been in 1995. It was £1 sterling. And it was just like a set of like a mini baking set. It wasn't real. You couldn't bake with it, but a mini baking set. And if I got 10 out of 10 on my spelling test every week for a whole school year, I would get it.
For something that costs £1? Oh my. That's a lot of, dude. I mean,
Starting
credit
to understand
to your
a bit
mom
more about my personality now.
Wow. Couldn't you just find £1 on the ground or something at some, like, the odds of finding enough change to come up with £1 throughout the school year is probably greater than you, no offense, you getting 100% on every spelling test. I'm not saying you're not a good speller. I'm just saying we all have.
I did it.
Well, dude. So you got her.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will say one last thing. When I first saw this question, I did a little search for questions. I realized that something. Have you ever desired or longed for something, but once you got it, discovered it was overrated?
Yep.
There's a person.
Yep.
There's definitely a person.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into it, but who I was just like, man, if I ever have the opportunity, this is going to be exactly what I'm looking for. And then you go like, oh my God, the opportunity is here. And then you get into it and you go like, oh. Then you go, no, it's good. But the thing is, you've like kind of like been thinking for so long that that's what you're looking for, that you're a little more like, no, it's fine. But then you've got, in my case, you've got great friends who are kind of like, are you? And then it takes a while. Sometimes it takes you a few months or longer, and you go like, anyway. So yeah, maybe a person in there.
I mean, I was gonna say something similar.
You know what? Live and learn, babe. Live and learn.
Yeah.
And what we've done is made it through episode 3.
And that was me just checking we were recording.
Season 2. Yes. Of Fran and Carlo. Get OCR. Jason. Hey, Fran.
Hey, Carlo.
It was fun.
Sure. Let's do it again.
Why not? Thank you for listening.